Trail salute. I had to laugh at that one. Yo, who that? How you say your name? Zephion. Zephion, man. Y'all bugged out. Trail salute. Zephion salute. Appreciate the pull up, man. I ain't doing nothing. Yo, Renegade Society Production. Salute, my guys. Appreciate the put up. The pull up, rather. Identical. Old dog bites harder, right? Salute. I don't know. Jenna. Jenna, salute. Appreciate the pull up. Yes, sir. Appreciate the pull up. I sub. Good looking, man. I appreciate that, homie. I appreciate that. We gotta have a nice talk. We gotta have a nice talk, nice dialogue. Bro, are you picking up yo man, Metro? Salute to you, Metro, but I'm straight, man. I'm only female over here, man. Only female over here, man. Only female over here, man. I'm in I'm in America, United States. Uh I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm in America, man. We gonna let y'all live. We gonna let y'all, we gonna let y'all trolls do what y'all do. You know what I mean? Metro, watch your mouth. Yeah, just keep it respectful. You know what I'm saying? You gonna troll. You know what I mean? Know how to troll. Keep it respectful. You know what I'm saying? Cause we gotta have a dope conversation today. We gotta have a dope conversation today, people. That's a fact. We gotta have a nice one today. Today is gonna be a nice one. You see what the title say, man. You see what the title say. Lansky, salute, my guy. Appreciate the pull up. Props to Pops. Identical. Props to Pops. Damn, you sound like my son. Word. But yeah, we gotta have a nice one. We gotta have a nice one today. You understand? I had to go on a date for this one. Yeah, I had to go on a date for this one. Word. I wish I would have had my camera when it happened. You know what I mean? That'd have been dope content. You know what I mean? But I ain't have my joint. It's another thing I gotta start doing. You know what I'm saying? Walking around with a nice little camera, man. You know what I mean? And yeah, let's get this footage. It was some dope footage I could have caught earlier. You know, that's how I came up with the topic right now. You know what I mean? Grown man talk. You know what I mean? So now you're rocking out with your boy Grown Man Talk. Why sober, bro? Spark one up, homie. Nah, I'm groovy, man. I'm groovy, man. You could do so though. Spark one up. Kick your foot up. Crack you a cold one. However you want to watch me, man. You know what I mean? The pleasure is yours. That's a fact. The pleasure is yours. And I hope y'all go like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy 050BUCKS, aka Mr. Shoot Right Back. You dig? Yeah, the grind don't stop. You know, I know people happy. Yeah, you got them out there happy. You know what I'm saying? Praying on my downfall. You know? Edward, salute. Salute to Edward. Word. Edward does shorts. Shout out to Edward does shorts, man. Shout out to him, man. But yeah, you know how that go, people. You know what I mean? So, But today, I was like, whoa. Like, what's going on? Young. Young, that's a fact. Young. I was like, whoa. Weird. I mean, I say young people, I mean young. I'm talking about like 13, maybe 14. Word. Hey, bro, good luck with your future. Need to go. Appreciate the pull up. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Edward does shorts. Appreciate the pull up. Uh, I'm just gonna call you Pete, man. Appreciate the pull up, Pete. Again, man, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share the live. Make sure you go subscribe if you haven't. And make sure you go to that community wall. Check out my merch. Yeah, I was tripping on that. People like these kind of conversations is one argument, not even a conversation. It's just a little argument. Word, it's just a little argument. That's a whole fact. I'll probably give him 15, 16. Cause I think the dude, he had a baby. The dude, he had a daughter. I think he was saying, but they were just going at it. Word, like they was just grown ups. You know what I mean? You would I don't know, but you would have thought that they had their own spot and all. Like Hood TMC, salute. DBN, salute. Appreciate the pull up. That's a good question. Pete. P asked me, "What's your biggest achievement and disappointment of 2025?" Wow, City Bama salute. Wow, that was a dope one. Oh man, let me see. Um, let's go. My achievements, man. My achievements, man. I think just standing on law, man. You know what I mean? Standing for something. You know what I mean? I think that's my biggest achievement. Yeah, standing on something. You know what I'm saying? Standing on something. It's my biggest achievement. My biggest disappointment so far. My biggest disappointment so far this year. I think giving people the benefit of the doubt when they don't deserve it. That's my biggest disappointment for me this year. Giving people the benefit of the doubt and they don't even deserve it. Meaning over explaining myself to try to get the other person to understand me. That's my biggest disappointment, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my biggest disappointment right there for 2025. Native tongue salute, my guy. That's a fact. Salute, salute. Young head new to this. Salute to the channel. Yeah, that's a fact. Um, oh, they gonna do it. What do you think about Lil Peep? Have you ever listened to him? Nah, I never heard of Lil Peep. Bro, I never heard of Lil Peep. Never heard of Lil Peep. But yeah, word. So yeah, I think that's that. You know, that was a dope question. Pete. That definitely was a dope question. Word, because that you got me thinking now. Word. Spencer, salute, my guy. Yeah, you got me thinking now, Pete. Word. Definitely got me thinking. That's a fact. Word. It's a whole fact. Could be a little more probably when you sit down and you think about it. You was lending out your hand too often. Nah, I wouldn't say that. Top op, salute, my guy. Hey yo, op, what up with St. John, man? Uh, what? P asked another question. You was lending out your hand too often. Nah, I wouldn't say my hand. I wouldn't say my hand. P. I wouldn't say my hand. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I see they got bumped. You was bigging them up. What you think of recent Kanye crash out? Despicable. Yeah, despicable. Despicable. Crash out was despicable. All right, Henny, salute. Appreciate the pull up. They won the Big East, but Arkansas did them dirty. Yo, you want to know something? Hey, yo, I remember Arkansas. They pulled that off. They pulled that off before Arkansas. Skin and bone, salute, my guy. Appreciate the pull up. Nah, you ain't never say they was winning it. Nah, you put me on to them though. Then when I got on, I started watching. That's the game I watched when they lost. And I don't know why he sit this star player. He didn't have faith in him that he was gonna get hot at one point. Tavon Miller, salute, my guy. But yeah, so with that being said, people, you understand. To Pete, question again. He asked, "Did I lend my hand? Nah, I didn't lend my hand." Rick Latino said he was playing like trash. Yeah, but he lost faith in him a little bit. It looked like. Word. So yeah, make sure y'all come hit that like button, people. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Share the live. Make sure y'all go subscribe to your boy 050BUCKS, aka Mr. Shoot Right Back. Make sure you go to that notification bell. Make sure you hit all so you get all my notifications. Make sure y'all go to that community wall. Check out my merch. We got some summer line coming out. Big Evil, salute. Appreciate the pull up. Yeah, I heard a juju. Yeah, I heard a juju through the commercial. Through the State Farm commercial. Word. But yeah, so y'all see what the title is, man. You know what I mean? We about to have some good dialogue. You know what I mean? Some good, some good old talking to. You know what I'm saying? So what threw me from the gate is how young these two were. Uncle Rouse, salute, appreciate the pull up. City Bama, you already appreciate the pull up. The mob is in the building. Salute to the mob. DJ Velo and the squad. Appreciate the pull up. Oh, he got a 5 flat, and he should be on his way out. Then he damn near got that in, right? Lil Brain, hello, big bro. Can you play my rap on your stream? I'm going through something now, probably for doing that. So probably not. Just send it, and we'll figure something out. You dig? Send it, and we'll send something, and we'll figure something out. But yeah, so and I'm getting my walk on. Then I was air hustling. Asia, salute. Appreciate the pull up. DBN, you already. So as I'm walking, and I'm already in my mind, I'm like, yo, these kids are kids. You know what I mean? How they having these type of conversations? You know what I'm saying? And Shorty barking on the dude. So I don't know if this was the baby mom, but it couldn't have been the baby moms. It couldn't have been the baby moms. You know what I'm saying? Because he had made a statement. It hit home a little bit too, because he made a statement, and it's like, yo, how you trying to put me through all of this? Bad enough I'm going through it with my daughter. Like, I'm going through issues with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Baby mother situation. Well, pretty much, I don't know his avenue, but I know he said, pretty much it was something he was going through with his daughter. So, when he was basically letting her know, well, she didn't understand it, that, lighten up. You know what I'm saying? Lighten up. You're supposed to be my comforter, and you making it hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be my comforter, but you making it hard. You understand me? Like, bad enough I got to go through the everyday drama, and I'm just ad-libbing at this point because I don't really know their situation. You know what I mean? But, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got me going through it with my baby moms, and I guess his child. So pretty much he like, yo, I could spend all this energy like on my child. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna let you come in. You want to stand and portray that you gonna be there. He ain't using these words, but pretty much that's what he's saying. Like, yo, I'm not gonna let you come in my line. This it's his words now. Like, you're not gonna come in here and talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, try to belittle me, and I'm in that process of trying to, trying to get right, do right. You know what I mean? I don't know how, true it is what he was saying. He was hitting on the nose. You know what I mean? Noroski. Now, I don't know if she got the picture, being as though that, some females, they don't grow out of being young adults. You know what I'm saying? They don't grow out of being young adults. And I say that to say, you know what I'm saying, when you got a man that's out here and that's trying to make it, trying to make things happen and put forth effort, because that's what I took out of Shorty. I'm like, damn, Shorty, because it's big. That's big for you to let a female know that, because that tells me that you should be in your kid's life. So why would you let something distract you of that? Or why would you let somebody come into your life and put extra baggage and extra food? You know what I'm saying? And you going through an issue already. So why would you add on to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you add on to a situation where you know that this young man is already going through it? You know what I mean? He already going through situations that he got to deal with every day. Every day. He got to deal with this every day. How to maneuver, how to kind of tone around, you know what I mean, certain situations that it ain't working in his favor. So I would say, looking back from what I'm learning from that conversation, it's sad that how that joint is hitting home at such of an early age. That's the part for me, like, yo, hold up. How you going through the same, you know what I'm saying? How you going through the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Pamela, salute. Appreciate the pull up. Yes, man. You already know, Pamela. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Tommy, it is. I don't got all that Balenciaga and all that. I don't need that. I'm going my throwback. Tommy, my guest is some naughty. I'm groovy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to look like no young dude. I want them to know I'm an old head. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old head. I ain't got that to do. I ain't at all. You know what I mean? So yeah. So as I continue to ear hustle, they got these games in PAs called adult gaming. You know what I mean? I didn't take an L. They bust my chops today. I'm mad at myself about that. You know what I mean? Definitely mad at myself about that. You know what I mean? But back to the situation. I swear I wish I would have recorded this joint. You know what I'm saying? Because Shorty started like airing out dirty laundry, and I be wondering what females get out of that. You know what I'm saying? What females get out of that? Because when you're dealing with a man with some type of substance, and you seeing here trying body, and he doing what he need to do, why put him on blast? Like, this was outside. This is not no indoor this is they outside in front of a store. Word, in front of a store. So I'm saying to myself, like, all you hear is, yo, I did this for you, I did that for you, and I did this for you. And I'm like, wow. Like, why would you brag or throw in his face the things that you did for him? I would have thought you did that from the heart, where it's not about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought first thing. Like, damn, why would you air that out? What was your point? What did you, like, I don't know. What do females get out of that? What do they get out? That's like, with me, that's like one of my worstest fears. That's a fact, people. I won't allow no one to do anything for me. Fear of they bringing it back, throwing it in my face. That's my fear. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing that I don't promote. You know what I mean? I promote, let me knock it out the ballpark. Let me put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? And then we go from there. You know what I mean? So I don't know what their situation is, but it was disturbing to hear that. It was disturbing, and I'm like, man, these kids nowadays are picking up bad traits. You know what I mean? Because somebody should have even told the dude, like, yo, just walk away. You ain't gonna win an argument. I wanted to do that too, though, but I said, you know what, man? What if it take a turn? Because you can't play with these young boys nowadays. So I didn't want to put myself in a predicament to where it's though I'm like, yo, shorty, you know what I mean? Yo, just walk away from that. You ain't gonna win a you ain't gonna win an argument with no female. You ain't. You know what I mean? And I didn't say nothing. You know what I mean? But I did ear hustle. You know what I mean? Because I think we had some shows some time ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was kind of like touching on the same thing. You know what I mean? How a lot of these you know younger generation they kind of mimic what they saw. Somewhat, if you understand. You know what I mean? And it's not always that way, but for the most part, you kind of yeah, that household is crazy. It's not always that way though. You know what I'm saying? DBN, Facts Hamler, anything I've ever done for anybody, once I did it, I never mentioned it. Basically, act like nothing ever happened. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, Pamela. When I do from the heart, never to be mentioned on any level. That's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Really, it's supposed to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was like a nigga trait. You know what I mean? I thought majority of the men get caught up. Yo, I did that for you. That, you know what I mean? I know a couple of men who would throw that out there. You know what I mean? Well, I did this, did this. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, you have to understand your situation first. Now, when you become involved in a situation, sometime that I'm doing for you, it's like either it's financial, that's like a financial gain, that's like hush, hush up. Let me shut up. You know what I mean? You ain't doing much. I'm the and that's how she probably felt. Like, nigga, I'm doing for you. You ain't got no voice. You know what I mean? Until you step up and do what you do, then that's when you can. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, wow. So how do she think he's supposed to look at her after that conversation? You know what I'm saying? Me, and this is what I start thinking. You know what I mean? And I was mad that I didn't open my mouth afterwards, but it is what it is. They say, yo, MYOB, mind your own business. You know what I mean? So that's just what I did. But as I'm hearing, I wanted to say something so bad. Like, I wanted to tell Shorty, like, yo, listen, my dude, make that be the last. Because if you allow that to go on, it won't be the first. Anytime they can come at you in the manner of what they did for you and what they could have done, what people on the outside look at them because, now again, I don't know his situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know his situation. You know what I mean? So just from the outside looking in, these are things that I know that probably he could use in his arsenal belt. You know what I mean? You don't stick around too long to wait for the building to collapse. Once you see a first default, get out of there. And it's not easy, but you got to get out of there. Because that ain't going to do nothing but it's like a cyst. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing. So, to help you in that manner, you cut the cyst off right before it start growing. Either you can sit, which I'm hoping that happened, sit the young lady down, yo, listen, that wasn't cool. And they come with an understanding and they move forward and make things But they have to have that understanding though. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow. At the end of the day, DBN said, "You'll be alright." DBN, yo, Pamela, if if you ask to borrow a few dollars, I'm not going to harass you for my payback, but don't come back because it will never happen again. Yeah, yeah, that's so true, Pamela. That's why I don't borrow. You know what I mean? I definitely don't borrow. Now, if I got it to do so, I will lend, but I'm not gonna lend it where I need that right back. Like I'm not gonna do nothing I know that's gonna hinder me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna put myself in that position. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't got it to do, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do it. If I ain't got it to do, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm air hustling, and Shorty just keeps going on, and dude, I say a little passive. A little passive. Yeah, that's a fact, but it won't be a borrow though, DBN. If I borrow, I'm not paying back. I hear that. Only with money. Okay, WWO. Don't lend me. Give it to me or don't. Yeah, you got a point there. But sometimes, man, people, they be having hidden agendas, even with helping you. They definitely have hidden agendas. You know what I'm saying? They'll help you and act like they supporting you. You dig? And it really don't be that. My man P OG wanna help me with something. Talk about it, P. Talk about it, man. If I can, you know what I mean? I can. I won't ever deny that. But yeah, you know what I mean? That's where that come from. You know what I mean? You have to really be skeptical about who helps you. Because if things don't go their way, they're gonna use it against you. They're gonna make you feel like the villain. They're gonna make you feel like you brought bad energy to them. You know what I'm saying? And that part of it, it's like, wow. Like, wow. You know? And I felt for Shorty. Because I'm like, yo, how about if he was one that's trying to make it? And he dealing with, a young female and she helping him out. Grown man thought, salute, my guy. Yeah, and she tried to figure him out. Yeah, I had one on earlier, but then, you know, music was playing in the background. I seen you pull up earlier, Grown Man Thoughts. Music was playing in the background, so I was like, you know what? Let me get ahead and what's the name? Salute, Grown Man Thoughts. Yeah, I seen you pull up, so I had to, get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's like so much. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. We'll touch on that too, man. How come I get no likes on dating apps, but I got good pictures? Well, you probably gotta leave the dating apps alone, man. Go hit the gym, Grandpa. I definitely need to. Yeah, I seen that. I know you heard the music playing in the background, so I was just like, yo, you know what? Let me just go ahead and, you know, switch locations or whatever. Linux, salute. I mean, it depends on the type of business we talking about, Linux. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like, looking in from the outside, no, I ain't gotta be right. You know what I mean? But just me air hustling, should I say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that mean, Linux. I have fixed matches and need clients. I don't know what that mean. Dating apps is crazy. You gotta You got to be super desperate. Yeah, that's a fact. Super desperate. That's a fact. Super desperate. But yeah, so as I continue to air hustle, you know, um, I'm just hearing old boy like this question, like wow, like why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like why would you, kind of talk down on me in a manner to where as though I'm sure she probably know his grind. But it's like anything, and I don't want to be right, you know what I mean? But it seems like when it comes down to a female, right, in certain situations, they feel like they could do whatever they want to do to a male when they know the male buys in. Because let's keep it real. If the dude was a threat, I don't think Shorty would have did that. Being up, catch one of the Brodies on those apps, selfie. I'm roasting them. Oh, they be on there. Don't. That's a fact, DBN. They definitely be on there. I do pyramid scheme and need clients. I'm from Kenya. Oh, word. Well, we in the United States, Linux. I don't think I can help you with that. We in the United States. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's when the male have an issue swept under the rug, but you bring the issue up to certain females because remember you got females, you got women, and you have ladies. We ain't even gonna call them little girls. So you got females, you have a woman, and you have a lady. You know what I mean? And when you speak, right, to a woman, 9 times out of 10, that woman is gonna at least hear you out. She's not gonna have a screaming war with you, especially when she know that. Listen, this nigga ain't even gotta be here. This nigga could be anywhere else, but he here, and they take that in consideration. You know what I mean? Then you got the ladies, where the ladies are pretty much scream they supporting you, and then soon as you call something out or you feel a certain way about something, it's a problem. I guarantee you that support goes out the window. That's for the ladies, you know what I mean? With no disrespect. And then female. Female, it goes back to what I just said. Females uh want to win that debate. They want to overtalk you. They want to talk to you like you're their kid. They do all the things that's not fixable on purpose because they know that they got something to fall back on. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dudes. Don't act like y'all ain't never, you know what I mean? Y'all ain't never been like no rebound nigga. Nothing. Come on, don't do that now. Don't do that. You know, when you become that rebound, you know what I mean? Pamela, I got a question. You dig? Right? When you dealing, I bet money that old boy could have been a rebound dude. Stuck around, waited for Shorty to figure out what she's gonna do with her last situation, and then voila, he gets his shot. Because I'm a firm believer, looking at that, you gonna lose him the same way you got him. Yeah, you gonna lose him the same way you got him, people. A secret don't no longer be a secret. Like I told you, ways and actions just show everything. So what I mean by that is, if you was a rebound dude, and you waited, then you got your shot, how long do you think that situation ain't gonna reappear? You know? How long you gonna think that situation ain't gonna reappear? Because that's the comfortability of the individual, whether it be male or female. You know, if a dude, he rocking and rolling, and he been dealing, you know what I mean? He rocking, and he got another little joint on the low that may have potential. I'm sure 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be easy for him to, you know what, to the female, F you, I'm done with you. You know, I don't know how many males play the blocking game, but we just gonna speak overall. So, you know what I mean? You know, block them and do all the other corny ish. That was already, you know, dude already checked out. He already felt like, damn, you know what, I got something that on the back burner that I think that's gonna be good money. And that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer, and that's what happens. Because if you rocking with somebody and you stand on what you stand on, yo, I'm, you know, being supportive. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is the, you know, this is the Willy Bobo. You know, they always get you in the beginning. Oh, yo, I'm gonna support you. Yo, I'm your biggest fan. Yo, I'm here. You know, I guess what they say. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you. You know, the on and ons. You know what I'm saying? And just like that, they start throwing them curveballs at you. You got to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? Or else you'll be like Shorty that I just seen. Arguing with Shorty exposing them. Like, I mean, come on. And my thing, if you feel that way, then go ahead and make, you know what I mean, like bust your move. Like, but don't drag me in the mud in the process. Don't drag me in the mud in the process. Because what we doing? What do you get out of dragging me in the mud? Does that make you feel good? You know what I'm saying? Like for the females, when they do it to men, like, do that make y'all feel good? Like when y'all just drag a dude? Like, what that be about? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was just bugged out. But really, I was just like, wow. Shorty said, yo, why you know, you put me through all of this, knowing that I gotta, you know, I gotta deal with issues like with my baby moms, my child. You know what I mean? These are the things I gotta deal with everyday life. You know what I'm saying? And then have to deal with you with your threats. What that tell you? That gotta tell you something. You know what I mean? It definitely gotta tell you something. You know what I mean? I don't think that should, you know, that should go unseen. But I will say, don't, you know, when you feel something in your gut, don't stick around and be butt of the joke. Because you could definitely be butt of the joke. You could be cool with everybody. But once that dude or that female, you know, the want to mark you out as a mark, you know, in LA terminology, as a mark you out as a mark, they gonna ride. They gonna ride. So it really don't even matter. You know what I mean? Because now you the villain. Oh yeah, you did it to this and then you did it to that. That's just like if old boy introduced his child to that girl. How can he feel comfortable with his daughter being or his son being around the girl? How? You know, is that like a light switch? You know what I'm saying? Black Afghanistan salute. You know what I'm saying? Is that like a light switch? You know, something that you turn on and on? That's another thing that I'm a firm believer in. A lot of dudes, they do it. You got to stop bringing your child into every situation. In every situation, you got to. Now I can tell y'all a personal dealing with me where I made that same mistake. Same mistake, people. You bring a child into a situation, right? And then you and that person don't see eye to eye. Now it's F you and pretty much F your child. In certain situations, my situation just so happened to be it wasn't F my child. It was just F me. Kept the same relation with my child. That's respected. You know what I mean? Can't ask for nothing more. It's respected. But the issue of the matter is that you kind of play a selfish role, like to the man that brings their child into a situation and that situation don't work out. Now, as a man, because I went through this, I'm just being honest, in my man Mikey B voice, I went through this. I wanted my daughter to feel the way I felt towards this individual. That's just me being selfish. Forget the relationship they had, but I wanted my daughter to feel the way I felt during this situation. And so I had to fall back from that. Like, yo, you know what? You let your daughter make her own decision if she chose. But yeah, because it's hard for a child to know what you're going through and not take a side. The child would take a side just because. So again, if this coming from a male, that child's gonna take the male side because that's her pops or that's his pops. So they might still deal, but that child's gonna look at that individual shaky. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you disrespectful, yo, you know what I mean? Like, and it's friction. Now check this out. I don't know how true it is, but I've been reading things that's going on with Jim Jones and his lady here lately. And I don't know how true it is, but they said Jim Jones' son put his hands on Jim Jones' lady. Now, I don't want to jump out the window with speculation. You know what I mean? I don't know none of that. But when you're dealing with real time and situations like that happens, yeah, that child, um, how can I say, adopts that friction. The child adopts that friction. You know what I mean? Definitely adopts that friction. Whether he was great to the child or she was great to the child, it really don't even matter at the point because a child, right, again, it's going to adopt that friction. It's always going to have in the back of the mind, like, yeah, you know what I mean? You grimy. You know what I mean? You try to do my mom dirty. You try to do my pops dirty. They adopt that. And for me, it was bad because I put myself in a situation like putting all my eggs in one basket. Like if I was doing what I'm doing now 10 years ago, ain't no telling where I'd be. But when you dealing with somebody, you put your eggs in that one basket. You know, so it's like, all right, well, let's do house. You know, you and this individual together, y'all come together as one and y'all kind of build that house. Right? Then it gets messy when things don't work out. And this is personal. and you move on from that situation, now you're looking at it from a bigger, from a bigger lens. Like, damn, I put my situation before my child. Meaning, I still should have been thinking house because of my child. You know what I mean? Not thinking we, meaning dealing with an individual. And we gonna make it happen. We gonna buy a house. All that we, when she done with you, goes out the window. Don't want no kids to contact you, no nothing. Now you could raise, you done raised the child. You pretty much the child father. You done raised them. They put all that in jeopardy just to make you look like a bozo. I did that. This is why I be numb to certain situations for these past couple of years. You be numb. Because these are the things that you say, yo, I seen this all before. Why would I be hurt by something that I didn't lived it? I didn't witness that. You can't hurt nothing that's numb. If I numb my hand right now and rolled over it, I'm not gonna feel nothing. My hand is numb. I don't know what's gonna happen after the numbness wear off. Eventually you gotta deal with the issue. But yeah, you become numb to it. You definitely become numb to it. So when you walking that walk, just stay focused. Word, stay focused. Because that thing to look good, then it takes one day. One day. One day. You could have fought for 2-3 years. You could have fought. Man or woman. One day, though, they feel some kind of way. Man or woman. And voila. Happens every day. This is why you got so many females that's an eye with different kind of dudes entering their home. That was another pet peeve of mine. I wasn't having that. Wasn't no, nah. But you got some females, they okay with that. You know what I mean? Males too. All right, that didn't work out. Let me go wild at Shorty now. Shorty's over now. Now your daughter or your son is then interacting about 2 or 3 females within 2 or 3 years. Like, I'm a firm believer, yo. Your child should not be introduced to everybody you consider your boyfriend, girlfriend, or friend. That's just me. That's just me, people. But then yet, you get these same people, they try to chastise you like you're the child. Yo, you can't make this up. Shorty was chastising him like he was the child. I'm hoping everything went I ain't even gonna lie. I'm like, yo, I'm hoping everything You know what I mean? Old boy don't whip Shorty out here or something like that. When I go back to the store, I'm ask Bob, like, yo, Mike, what happened? You know what I mean? What happened? Because I know he was tripping. He was tripping. I was mad as hell. I lost a couple of dollars, but you know what I mean? I was so into air hustling. Yeah, I was air hustling. You know what I'm saying? Because Stuff like that hit home for me, man. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff like that. It definitely hits home for me. You know what I mean? And it's not always in a bad way. It's just in a manner of you knowing. You know what I mean? Once you know, then you know. Then you can move on accordingly. You understand? And you can say, all right, my man Yellow Beezy said, it's on me, baby. It's on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like you're not supposed to get mad at the person and you already knew what it was. You already knew what it was. You can't get mad at a person and you already knew what it was. You gotta be mad at yourself. You gotta take accountability, responsibility. You gotta have to do that. Because you'll be a fool to try to waste energy being mad at the other person. You'll be a fool. You ain't gonna get nowhere. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna never get nowhere. Yeah, you gotta develop that, P. It all ain't gonna be smooth though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be smooth. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be easy. You know what I mean? Things, things happen for reasons. You know what I mean? Let me just say that. You know what I mean? Things happen for reasons. You know what I mean? And when you know and understand that, you take them levels. You don't ignore them steps. Yo, hold on, wait a minute. Let's be cordial. You know what I mean? No relationship. Like men act like you can't do that. You could be cordial with somebody. You don't have to have relation. You just gotta respect the decisions that other person make, and she respect your decisions that you make. But you can't just straight jump into something that you know already that it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? You can't because you're gonna lose, and then you're definitely gonna look like the bozo. You're gonna look like the bozo. You know what I mean? Definitely look like the bozo. You're gonna look like the one who, created the madness. You'll look like the one who, you know, who, I guess I would say rally for a bad situation. Because I'm telling you, I've been reading up on the Jim Jones situation. That thing look like it's ugly. Word. Sexy J salute. Appreciate the pull up. Yeah, that thing look ugly with the Jim Jones situation. He done caught her cheating with one of his guys. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, yo, listen, check this out. I'm sure Jim felt that already. He felt it, but he ignored it. A lot of these females, what's what they want you to do? Remember I said females, not a woman. Because a woman is gonna fix that. We not having that. I'm not doing nothing to make it look like I'm doing something. Facts. So, when you deal with that female, they're gonna turn it around and make it look like you are the problem. Yeah, you the problem. You are the problem. How could you fix it? I think that I don't know. You know, I'm strong on respect, man. You know what I mean? I'm me personally. I'm strong on respect. You know what I'm saying? I have anger issues, man. I can go 0 to 100 real quick. You know what I mean? So I try to protect that, and me protecting that is me. voicing my opinion, how I feel. I'm never gonna change that. I'm gonna speak on how I feel. And if they rock with you, they're gonna respect how you feel. They're gonna do two things. They're gonna check it or respect it. Only two things. Anything else, it just be what it's gonna be. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know, a lot of us men, we be thinking we the big kahunas, man. Nah, we ain't the big kahunas. The women are the big kahunas. And I only say that because a woman, female, or lady, when they done, they done. They could check out on you a year before they even tell you they done. They be done checked out on you already. They head in another nigga lap already. Facts, already. Head in another nigga lap. Or beating your name up to the other nigga. You know, talk about things that goes on behind closed doors with another nigga. Yeah, yo, I'm telling you, man. You know what I mean? You just gotta watch. That's why when y'all see me, people, dolo. Facts, dolo. Can't get caught up in the hoorah. The hoorah, because that's time you can't get back. You can't get that time back when you're in a situation and it ain't going good for you. So now you got to worry about that situation. Like, how could you really, right? Let me ask this question, and this for the females and males in the chat right now. How can you move on a happy journey if you got to worry about the bull crap? You can't. You can't go along your normal day doing the things that you need to do if you're in a relationship with somebody and you can truly love that person, or you're married and you're going through a divorce. How can you wake up and I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's a stressful happen. It's definitely a stressful happen. Because you can go through what you want to go through. But trust me, that sit down that night by yourself, I know people, I've been through it, yo. 10 years. Facts. 10. And that thing will rub you the wrong way. It'll rub you the wrong way. Definitely. And don't get over that situation and get caught up in another situation and have the same ending. Oh my God. Now, River, nah, not the truth. You can learn to dislike and hate a person easy. I know, yeah, that's true, right? Now, River, but when you speak on that, does that mean you stop supporting? Just because you dislike? Does that mean you do all the other unnecessary, things just because you dislike? Because it goes both ways. Now, what about the person who didn't like how you was moving and they stood around and dealt with it? Swallow the pride and don't taste that bad, and they stood around and dealt with it. So you got to look at it from both ways, because it works both ways. It's not only a one-way street. It works both ways. Because again, I'm sure Jim felt that Freddie G was kind of moving wacky. I'm sure that. Did Jim ignore it? Probably so. Probably so. And especially, I would think that Jim was in love with Chrissy, right? So he'd be the one who wouldn't want to demolish the relation. He'd be the one who tried to keep the relation together. Chrissy then checked out already. So what she say? She checked out already. So now, as the man, you become, nah, I don't even want that smoke because I'm not ready to check out. I don't want that smoke. So now Jim ignores it. And now Jim got to deal with the hurt. Because it hurts even worse, people, when your gut tell you something and you ignore it, and then that something comes right back around to bite you in the bosom. Yeah, that thought turns right around and bites you in the bosom. I'm telling you, it'll tear you up because it's like, yo, I went through all these years feeling a certain kind of way, and at the end of the day, I was right. You know what I'm saying? But those are the things though that goes on. You know what I mean? Daily. You know what I mean? You really, you really can't hide from it. The best thing to do is just bring it to the air, talk about it. I don't care if you gotta talk that person head off. If he or she loves you, she's gonna be a willing participant, right? To help you not feel the way you feel. Because it's all about making things right when you deal relation. It's all about making things right. When you deal relation, you don't got time to deal with nothing else. NY Nikki baby salute. Appreciate the pull up. DBN said baby J, baby come back. Crazy. El Plaga salute, my God. Appreciate the pull up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I think that's the key. You know what I mean? That's the key, people. You know what I'm saying? That's like communication. You know what I'm saying? Communication will take you a long way, people. The communication aspect. All you gotta do is be a willing participant. If you want better, you will do better. If you want better, you will do better, people. That's just it as a whole. But if you don't want no good, ain't no good gonna come out of it. It just ain't no good gonna come out of it. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then the selfishness kicks in, right? Because now you forget about the relation that this young lady and your son or your daughter have. You forget about that. You know what I mean? You forget about that. So now when you go ahead and go make your move, you're not even thinking about the relationship she had with your kids. And that's the selfishness when for that person. That's a fact. That's the selfishness. Because how you not take that in consideration? That's a fact. NY Nikki baby, DBN said, hey NY, okay, yeah. So at the end of the day, people, man, you know what I mean. It's all about the respect factor. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you wanted to work, because it's you. You know, you could be mad at a person all day long, but do you think your child is okay seeing that revolving door? And then the male, all you want to do is blame the female. So all the male want to do, oh yeah, it's her fault. You don't want to take accountability. Don't even be the male. You know what I mean? Don't even be the female fault. Be the male fault. Take accountability. You know, it's okay to say, okay, well, you know what? I was wrong. That's my fault. But then nowadays, people, the females don't even respect that. They don't even respect a man that can own up to what he could do better, what he did wrong. Like, they don't even respect that. They use that against you. They use it against you. You understand me? They use that against you. Not even for one would even think, all right, well, you know what? You know, that word at least. You know, at least, she has a great relationship with my kids, man. That's something to make you say, yo, you know what? Let me fight. These people don't know how to do that nowadays. They all about tearing you down. They want to tear you down. They want to, especially like with these vindictive females, they want you to hurt. Like her old girl, she was taking care of her man or whatever he was. I know she wasn't the baby mother, right? And to make him hurt, she snatched the support from him. You know, man or female, carry out the same antics. You know, you get in your bag, yeah, all right. Let me see if you do this without me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that's what happens, but when you look at it from the third eye, it is what it is. It's reality. Because a lot of men out here, that's just what we do. Especially if we the breadwinner and we looking at a situation. Some of us get caught up in, oh yeah, that female, she ain't got no voice. She ain't doing nothing. I'm the breadwinner. Why would I listen to what she got to say? I'm helping you. I'm taking care of you. However, you living underneath my roof. You run my water bill up. You know what I mean? You eat all my food. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, it's like, damn, hold on. Am I being hushed up? Cause that woman gonna get it. And that favorite line, nigga, just because you doing blah 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 blah, it don't mean that I'm blah blah. And that's what goes on. Same thing with a man. Once a female, get that authority to where as though it would feel like a man depend on you. Oh man, they gonna run with that in the worst way. Cause that be the only way they can kill you. Well, at least the feelings part of you anyway. That's the only way they feel they can kill you. Especially if they've been grinding with you and they see what you're worth and they see what you're trying to do. Oh, well, let me do this. This gonna hit him the long way. You see, the big petty comes out. Yeah, the big petty, like that move today. That was a petty move. Because I'm sure she was feeling like that even before they stepped outside. Why not have that conversation indoors? Now, I don't know what he did in that process of them being behind doors, but it ain't look good on the outside. Did he deserve it? Hey, he might have. He might have deserved it. You know what I mean? He might have. My man DBN said you could love your partner, but you gotta like them too. There's couples out here that love each other at the same time, can't stand each other. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, yo DBN. You ain't never lie about that. You ain't never lie about that. That yo, you know how many times a marriage bumps into a wall? Do you know how sometimes a marriage or a relationship they don't see eye to eye? And then you question, damn, how did they make it? They made it because they came to a normal ground where the respect comes into play. That's the whole fact. Hey, yo, oh, that's you, Wax? Yo, Wax, what's popping, man? Nigga, Wax, now, River. I blew you up. AP, what's popping, man? You going on at the Bucks? I'm going to definitely tune in. You heard me, you going on at the Bucks. Yeah, people though, man. But everything is groovy, Louie, man. And I think that, I ain't gonna lie, I wish I had my, you know what I mean? But it be what it be. You know what I mean? Just gotta have understanding. You know what I mean? You can't want for yourself what you don't want another person to have. Let me say that again. You can't want for yourself what you don't want another person to have. Other than that, life is easy. I'm gonna treat you the way I want to be treated. That's simple. Treat a person the way you want to be treated. It's simple. It's not hard. Oh, yeah, when I'm angry and I'm mad, I say, yeah, that's cool too. But leave it to a minimum. You know what I mean? And why, Nikki? Leave it to a minimum. Yeah, I didn't even know that was you, AP, man. Shit, you know what I mean? Shit, lotion. So, at the end of it, man, you know what I mean? That's just the bottom line of it all. You know what I mean? Because either way or either how, you're wasting somebody's time that they can't get back. Yes, you can, NY Nikki, baby. Yes, you can. That's a fact. You definitely can. You know what I mean, though, people? Like, it's just, you know, it be the little things sometimes, man, that'll destroy everything. But yet, don't remember, you can't ignore that gut feeling. If you know in your gut and you feel it, you know what I mean? Act on it. Word, act on it. Act on it. Because um, if it's no boundary, situation ain't gonna never work. It ain't gonna never work. Now, real disloyalty, that's it. On wax, and you have a lot of I'm gonna say this, not being biased, but you have a lot of females that's adapting to that trait. They'd rather be, they adapt to that trait. That's a fact. Yo, I'm seeing more now females wigging out. Wigging out. Females are doing what men used to do, I think. You know what I'm saying? You got something on tuck. All right, I'm going to create a situation so this don't work. So they give me, you know, it'll give me the green light to make my next move look like it was my best move. Let me bash him to my kids, or let me bash her to my kids, so now my kids can look at her like she's a bozo, and now when I bring another woman around, my kids will be alright with that. Nah. And that's what these women do. They sit there bashing nigga, especially those that sit down there and chop it up with their new man or new friend or with their newlywed husband, and they chop up what happened in their lives. Oh yeah, he this and he that and he this and he that and he blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, you still in connection with him. Where's your reason? What is your reason? That's why it's always safe not to talk about your last situation in a bashing moment, because now you're not conversing with with the other, because there ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't nothing wrong with conversing. But when you start the bashing, and then you sit there, oh yeah, I don't dish and I'm not in it, and then you turn around and then boom, what we doing? Because now, me personally, I'm a ride with, that's like my man. If my man like, yo, I don't like that nigga Bucks, that, such and such. Now I'm gonna do my 1-2 on it first. Or maybe I might just jack my man. My man ain't jacking that nigga. I'm not jacking that nigga. Period. That's how I go with me. You ain't gonna sit here and tell me, yo, listen, that nigga da 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 da, and I just sit there and I ignore it. Then I go deal with that nigga. That ain't me. That ain't me. I'm not even into bashing my last situation. I could talk about it though, but for my view on what I think I could have did better, and just hope that that person don't take it and you know what I mean, and run with it and use it against me. Like I just told you, my last situation, I didn't really have to do no bashing because she still held a rapport with my daughter. So I ain't do no bashing. But I did speak on the things that I know I could have changed and did better. So that made me a bigger person. So now if I want to step out and I want to go mingle, now I can mingle with a clear head. But still yet, no one understands. I seen this before. I'm not going down this same avenue. Now it's up to that person to respect what I'm saying or check what I'm saying. That's that. Because I don't know a person, right, where they come from being dragged in the mud, all this and the above, and then they get with somebody else, primarily like a woman, no communication. These are the things that she put up that didn't sit well with her in her last situation. And it's pretty much they letting you know what they didn't receive. So to me, as a man, you kind of bring that to the table, what they didn't receive. I don't think you keep the trend going with, oh, she don't rock with dudes who can't communicate. So it's your job now to communicate. As a man, you communicate. You say, all right, well, damn, you know what? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Me personally, I want to make this work. So I'm going to bring something to the table that's more of a mental nourishment than the physical nourishment. Because the only way this thing could work is the respect level have to be there. So I'm going to respect you enough to know and understand. I'm not going to bring to your table what you just came out of. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bring to the table what you just came out of. Then what's the reason? Same thing with these females that want to run around and get attention from everybody else. Oh, my man, well, he don't give it to me. That doesn't mean you put yourself open where another man could come give you attention, because if another man giving you attention, me personally, then you don't need me. Who am I? You don't need me. If you got somebody else that's willing to give you the attention that you feel you need, you don't need me. Because guess what? That same dude that's giving you all the attention, it's a million other females he giving that same attention to. It's a prime saying. Don't jump that fence because you think the grass is greener. You know what I mean? Don't jump that fence if you think on the other side the grass is greener, people. Don't jump that fence. Yeah, I agree, and why, Nikki, baby? That's a fact, DB. Communication is the key. That's a fact. But you know what, NY Nikki, baby? You know the thing that tickles me nowadays? Nowadays, you got more friends, right? That be already battered and abused. And then they try to give another female mental nourishment on how to deal with relation, or how to deal with friendship, how to deal with marriage. How can a female that already done lost herself can tell another female how to handle a situation? How? It's impossible. It's impossible. It ain't never, unless that female already have that in her. Unless that female have that in her already. But I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, if you just look at it and you say, well, I see you doing this over here. That's not womanly like. So how can you bring something to my table that's womanly like? Now, I know you got some females that probably can help others but can't help themselves. I'm a firm believer in that. Yeah, the blind leading the blind, nigga. And this is why we got what we got going on now, man. No, I mean, these young, and it's coming, I mean, I ain't gonna say young, because the adults are doing it too. The blind leading the blind. DSL salute. They may be looking at the situation and be hating on your situation. Hating on it. You know how y'all females get, damn, this B, why she so happy? Oh yeah, this B, she don't rock out with no more. She got her little friend. You know, that becomes hate. Jealousy. Facts. Word. And so now what they doing is derailing you from that situation. Because their situation ain't nothing like it. So now they sit back and they just watching. Damn, though, she happy as hell. Why I can't do that? So now she keep beating on the head. Yeah, yo, this, yeah, yo, that, yeah, this, yo, that. Yo, I'm gonna leave out on this one, people. Check it out, right? No one can make you feel no kind of way. Yeah, the hate be real, skin and bones. That's the whole fact. Right? Don't even last 3 years. Not even a relationship, DBN. You can have a friendship, that thing won't last. Like, they not even taking accountability to, like, yo, hold on, wait a minute. Let me fake it to make it, at least so a relationship come. But if yo, nowadays, yo, a person will quit you and you only a friend. yo, when you look at it, a person will quit you and you only a friend. Facts. But No one could ever make you feel bad about no decisions that you made. Ronald, salute, my guy. Appreciate the pull up. Yeah, let me say that again. There's no one on earth, people, that should be able to make you feel bad about a decision you made. Did that sink in? Because you got a lot of that going on. A lot of people, they want to take accountability. You know what I'm saying? They get mad at you for spitting the truth. They get mad at you for talking real. They get mad at you for wanting better for yourself and whoever that you probably will have dealings with for the now or for the future. Like, how is that? How are you upset at me because I want this thing to be great? Right? Does that make any sense? I'm going to be mad at NY Nikki Baby because NY Nikki Baby want me to do right. So she on my top like a do-rag because she want me to do right. She want me to help her make this thing go as beyond stars. So it's only right she be on my top. And yo, Bucks, why you, yo, that don't look right, Bucks. Why you dotted out of this? And yo, Bucks, why each time I turn around, it's this same such. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's her right to bring this to my attention. That's simple mathematics. Vice versa for a male. I mean, am I wrong? Pamela, am I wrong, Pamela? NY Nikki Baby, am I wrong? Yo, Op, you made a point. We gonna touch on that. A lot of people don't even love theyself, but jump out the window to say they love somebody else. Let's talk about that a little bit. How you don't love yourself and be mad at somebody because they love theyself enough to say, yo, listen, I don't think that's a good look. I don't think we could be able to make it on them type terms. That's a fact, NY Nikki Baby. That's what that, without you saying I love you, you showing that. Because you take the time out to keep on saying the same thing. You know, the other person to say, well, why do you keep saying it? Damn, what's the word? You're complaining. You're nagging. What? How am I complaining and nagging? Because I'm telling you how you make me feel. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Fumble Rumble. Salute. You already know BX will be next. Frumbly said, most people don't like that, bro, though. No matter how close you are to them, they start looking at you like an op. Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Start doing everything that'll try to throw you off your grind. I agree. I could agree with that. I agree with that. And yo, check this out. And when you look at the pattern, right? And you say, that energy that you using towards me, them other niggas in the past did you filthy. did you filthy? Like my past situation, Crook, salute, my guy. Yeah. Yeah, you said quick. You like something about me, or you love something about me. You don't love me. You know what I mean? Because if you love a person, you don't want that person to hurt. You know what I mean? You don't want that person to hurt. You're going to do whatever you're going to do so that person won't hurt. But check it out, right? Another personal one for me. You get caught up in a situation. Now you becoming doing another man's job. You raising another man's kid, right? And you been there where you know this dude is a piece of ish, right? You know that hate be real when that same female know how you bust your ass for this child that's not yours, and for that child father not to respect you as such. When y'all get into y'all situation, she used that same nigga that she know is a piece of shit to throw in your face. Facts. Had a female, well, not me personally, but I was overhearing a conversation. Well, not even overhearing the conversation. I was in the conversation, but I wasn't really indulging in it. It's my son and his little situation, right? And she had the nerve to say, at least in my last situation, he cared about my heart. So now I'm looking at my son like, I'm trying to figure out like, damn, what does she mean by that? So now I got to go back and do my research. Like, yo, hold up. Sexy J, salute. Uh, that what a man supposed to use, period, with everything. Right, so I got to go do my homework. You know what I mean? Cause like my son, he knew around the part of towns. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hold on. And you do your research on that situation, and they be like, what? You saying this man cared about your heart more than my son? Why didn't that shit work? Why didn't it work? Simple. That's why I say, people, a female ain't got to talk me to death. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch. I try to tell my son the same thing. Don't put your, don't put your on the street like work, my nigga. Because it's going to fall into the wrong fiend hands. And you know what a fiend do. When they know you got yellow top and it's that banging, guess what they going to do? They going to start putting soap in that yellow top, duplicating your brain. Facts. So now you got a female out here, oh yeah, well, I was this and that. Why y'all not in a relation now? DBN said a lot of people deal with codependency issues. Can't be alone. Don't. Yeah. Then that comes in with the now. You bringing this female or this male. It comes a revolving door, man. And why Nigga Baby said she is causing insecurities in their relationship. Like that statement would change things for the better. Bad move. But when you sit down there and you tell her that? I was born yesterday. Facts. I was born yesterday. Only when it benefits her, Pop, you was right. Only when it's beneficial to her, because I dig my son ass too. Like, I don't try to be biased. I keep it 100. I try to anyway. No bueno.com when the truth hits. Why you not together with that dude? Why you not together? I told her this. I'm like, yo, I don't even think you right for my son. Even the situation my son in now, he killing himself because everything he going through, I told him already. I remember the nigga had one of my V's, little shorty he was rocking with, broke my windshield. Not one time, twice. Twice. My son being my son, all right, you know what, Pop gonna fix that. I ain't gotta fix that. And that's what Pop did. I fixed it. But me saying that is to say this. A real woman would have sat my son to the side and said, yo, listen, do you have a car? Yeah, my pop. No, do you have a car? No. Treat your pop's car like it's yours. Because we don't have a vehicle. That's when I knew. That's when I knew, people. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, son, this not it. This not it. And let me tell you, some of these PA females ain't nothing nice. I'm just being honest. My man Mikey B voice. These females is nothing nice. They don't care about nothing. Nothing. I seen it. I seen it. BV, salute. Salute to my guy, Bad Vibes. Hey, yo, BV, you was asking about BV. You know your guy in the Have. BV, you heard? Your guy in the Have. All crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I seen that. And I tried to put my son on, but he ain't, you know what I mean? He ain't want to listen. He had it all. You know what I mean? He had it all. You know what I mean? Got up. Right? Yeah, that's a fact, BV. Yeah. And it was like, yo, what up with Vibe? I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? He don't really pop out like that too much no more. You know what I mean? He definitely don't be popping out like that no more. But yeah, he alright, he chilling. But he in the Have right now. If you know, reach out to him, BV. Yeah, about time my son gets older and it's time to go out there and mingle with the ladies. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's what Broski got. Broski in the Have, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So DBN, man. All you could do is just it's got him, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all you could do, man. You know what I mean? It's got him. Everything else is irrelevant. Don't kill yourself. Trooper 69, salute. I mean, it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely worth it. You know. But they might they gonna throw the book at him. Just because, you know, that body yaddy didn't stick. So when that body yaddy didn't stick, you already know they got something planned for them. They don't want to look like no fool. They're going to sit them down for a minute. Oh, yeah. You know I already be knowing, man. You know what I'm saying? You know I already be knowing, man. You know what I mean? Like, now he might get more than that, DBN. He might get more than some fit in. Or he still got some heavy charges. Yeah, he still got some heavy charges, man. He still got some heavy joints to deal with. You know what I mean? That's a fact. You know what I mean? He still got some heavy joints to deal with. I think 20 might be alright for him. If he get 20, I think that might be alright for him. If he get 20. I think he got to take that respectfully and bow out with a dub. Come home, he be 30-something, 40-something. He got it, you know what I mean? I hear NBA YoungBoy's supposed to be out. But yeah, these are the things though, man. You know what I mean? That'll make you say, you know what I mean? Especially when you're raising a little one. Because, I ask this question to a lot of females, right? That has a son. Would you want your son to go through what you put a nigga through? Let me say that again. Would you want your son to go through what you putting the next man through? Vice versa. Vice versa. For the men. You got a daughter. Would you want another man to put your daughter through the bull crap? Would you want that? Ming, salute. I'm sure you don't want that. So that's what I mean by, accordingly. You know what I mean? Act accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Act accordingly. That's all. That's because somewhere in the back of your mind, you have to reflect on these things. Yo, damn, would I would like that done to me? Would I like a dude, right, who sit there in the background, feel some kind of way, then make a bad decision? But I want that for my daughter. Like, what are you gonna teach your kids? It's okay to let a man enter your womb. Lay up. Great relation with kids. And just poof like that. Oh yeah, nah, that ain't nothing. Now your kids gotta get reintroduced to somebody else's ways and actions. And sometimes male and female, we drop the ball because we ask for something better. Than when we get it, we don't know how to cherish it. We don't know how to treat better. Just being honest, and my man Mikey Beef voice. Man and female, we ask for better and do not know how to treat better. That's a fact. DMW, salute, my guy. Appreciate the pull up. You know what I mean, Ronald? We asked for it. God, can you please bring somebody in my life better? And you get that better in your life, and you disrespect everything God sent you, but yet you a praying woman. How can you be a praying woman and you try to take a poop on God's child? How are you a praying woman or praying man and you take a poop on God's child? Because you can fool everybody. But that man upstairs, he already know what it is. Remember, he put you in that situation. He put you in that situation. You don't think he know? But we, when the time come, we ignore that. We ignore that. We ignore it. But yet we still God's kids. We God's children. Right? But we are straight drag God's other kids through the mud. Real talk. Straight through the mud. Real talk. That's a fact. Trooper 69 is free. Word up. It is so free. You know what I mean? It is free, people. It is not charging you nothing to hit the like button, share the live, go subscribe if you haven't. You know what I mean? But yeah, people, you know what I mean? You see, these are little things that, you know what I mean? This is what I call great content. Because it don't necessarily got to be something personal. This is the things that you can watch. Because it's happening every day. Especially if you got kids. Look what's going on now. You got these young kids running around already 2 or 3 different baby daddies. Why you think is that? Why you think these youngins is running around here with 2 or 3 baby daddies, 2 or 3 baby mothers? Why you think is that? Ron BX, salute my guy. Yo, Ron BX, appreciate that. I definitely dug into that. You know what I mean? But I like to move the way I want to move, and they kind of like, you know what I mean? I gotta appeal my situation. They demonetized me, so I gotta appeal that joint. You know what I mean? To get my monetization back. You know what I'm saying? I guess somebody called in on me saying reuse their content. So, I gotta, fight that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, people, it's sad. Because we watch it every day. It's right there in front of us. We see it with our own eyes. We see it. So what's the best thing you could do before you even get to that? You gotta talk. You have to be boisterous. You have to speak what's on your mind. You have to speak what's on your mind. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, then they can use that, what I don't know, or what I'm not told, I won't know. So now once you let that person know how you feeling, what you dislike, now they get the upper hand. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a habit though, Ron BX. I mean, I gotta have my 2 picks, man. It's just a habit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely an old head. I'm all right with that. That's why I let that gray show. I'm an old head. Look, I'm an old head. Any problemos, listen, I'm an old head, people. You know what I'm saying? Any. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that part. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing young about me. Ain't nothing young about me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, people, you know what I mean? It's easy, man. You know what I mean? It's not hard, people. You know what I'm saying? Treat somebody the way you want to be treated. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? Treat somebody the way you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Everything else is irrelevant. Everything else is irrelevant, people. You know what I mean? That's when you know you got something real. You know what I'm saying? When that person is able to sit there and let you know Either it hurts them, it's not a good look. They don't want to bring that mess into a relationship if it becomes that, or if you're already in one. They don't want to bring that into that. I'd rather fix this problem now, so moving forward, we don't go through that. First property, you already salute, my guy. BX will be next. You know what I mean? So you don't got to worry about going through that, people. You don't got to worry about going through the extracurricular drama. The communication deviant solves everything. But you got to be willing. You got to be willing to say, okay, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. But this is the twist, right? If you don't understand that you treating somebody bad and you're not respecting how they feel or whatever have you, and you know this, you can't be mad if, you know, some months down the line and here go again. Because that means that you didn't fix it. We got past the first part. You don't understand what you need to do. So you knowing that, you should also know and understand that if you hurt somebody, it's no time limit on how they should heal. It's no time limit. You can't put a time limit on someone else's feelings. You just can't. Who am I to be like, damn, you still on blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. I told you I was going, and they don't do it? I can't get mad. I got to suck that up because I did that. I'm the reason why, let's just use this as an example. I'm the reason why you're insecure. I'm the reason why you have no trust in me. Now, how can I get mad because I made you feel like you ain't got no trust in me? As a man, I'm supposed to say, you know what? I created this. So you got to handle that accordingly. Right? You handle it accordingly, people. You can't get mad at nobody. And you made, as they say, you made that bed, you got to lay in it. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad, people. There's no way you get mad, man. You learn from it and you keep it moving with no anger attached. That's how that works. Because if you don't handle it in that manner, you gonna bump into this every time. You gonna bump into it every time. It's gonna be like a revolving door. Jason, salute. Appreciate the pull up. You know what I mean? Every time, you know what I mean. And it's in that order, man. You know what I mean? It's a revolving door. You're gonna return to what you was just last involved in. That's what you're gonna return to. Because that man upstairs, he already put somebody in your life where as though, you know what I mean, you asked for it. You asked for it. And why Nikki Baby said, whether you are new here, coming through here, or true here, support of the channel is appreciated. Please hit the button to get all notifications, sub to the channel. That's a fact. In that order. In that order, man. Yeah, it is. That's a fact. Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. You know what I mean? In a worse way. Because let me tell you, look what's going on. I didn't read in the past week on how many females than unalive males. Same thing. Males unaliving females. These are some of the reasons why these things are going on. Break the curse, people. If you want better, you got to do better. Greatness is not going to fall on your lap. You got to grind for greatness. You got to go through the muddy waters for greatness. It's levels to greatness. So don't waste nobody else's time. If you know you're not in it for the long haul, don't waste that person's time. Don't make that person look like he's a bad individual because you checked out. You know what I mean? Don't make it look like a bad decision. Because you checked out. You dig? So we had another great one today. You know what I mean? Yo, I told you, I wish I would have had my cameras out, people. I wanted to get that so bad. So bad. You know what I'm saying? So bad. You know what I mean? Because it was an eye-opener. Even for me, it was an eye-opener. It was definitely an eye-opener. You understand? And when you can learn by experience, I'm just trying to merge off, you already know how that go, DBN, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to dive in what everybody, already done dove into. You know what I'm saying? So I try to hit on topics where it's relatable to everybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to do, gang-related politics. Everybody's not into gang-related politics. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into, with the bashing. I get my, Mr. Shoot Right Back moments where you go StreamYard and we wild out. But everybody don't want to get caught up into that. Some people need to hear, that mental nourishment. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just need to know and understand if they going through something, they're not the only one going through it. You know what I mean? So I try to be that. Some people may not like it. Some people may feel offended. But I'm the voice of the voiceless. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to do nothing but speak what's going on. 1, 2, what I see. And 3, was very disturbing. We just sat here 2 hours already on great content, and I didn't even know. It's 2 hours. It's about to be 2 hours and a half. You saw when you dropping your spiel, when you into your content, I didn't even know we almost about to be 2 hours into the show. We already an hour. We already almost an hour and a half into the show. Or 2 hours into the show, pardon me. So when you spit in your spill, it's always great. It's always great when you spit in your spill, man. You know what I mean? When you ain't got to be worrying about, someone questioning you. You ain't got to worry about keeping it real. You ain't got to worry about lying. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Ziggy Black, Feed the Wolves is in the building. Salute, my guy. Yo, Zig, you killing them on the gram, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you do that, Jen, but you killing them on the gram, man. You know what I'm saying? You definitely, well, let me say, you should be awakening the truth. Awaken the truth. Because a lot of these kids don't believe ish stink. So to show them in full throttle the way you doing it, I salute that. Because some may not even make it in them walls. But to have a head start, to know what's going on in between them walls, is a great thing. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, somebody could have woke up today. They could have been in the same situation, the same little guy. You know what I'm saying? Went through what he went through today. Maybe if he would have heard, you know what I mean, a couple of my shows, 2-3 weeks ago, he could have handled that situation a little better. You know what I mean? So it's things that, you know, check this out. Somebody else's problem could be a fix-up to someone else's problem. Could be the question and answer to someone else's problem. It's a whole fact. What you go through may help someone else go through the same thing that you're going through. Like, I can get on here, if I'm going through something and I'm mingling the way I'm mingling, that's a help. Because sometimes all someone needs is to be heard. Without being argued up, without being talked up, without being debated, but all it is to be heard. And we lack that. We lack that. And don't get it twisted, man. A female is secondary but most necessary, people. They a cream of the crop. But some of these women nowadays, they got to start acting like that. They have to start acting like that. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom is wise words spoken by a wise man. Wisdom and that understanding, because the understanding comes after the wisdom. Once you drop your knowledge, that be the man. The wisdom become the woman. The reflection of the knowledge that man just dropped, that's the reflection what becomes the understanding, which be the child. You see, the sun be the man, the moon be the woman, and the child be the understanding. So a woman is always going to be a reflection of a man. And vice versa. You can't live without either or. We can't live with just a moon. We can't live with just a star. We can't live with just a sun, which is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So we have to know and understand, people, life is not hard. Let life. But just be a willing participant. Because if you want better, you always gonna do better. Even if you gotta make a change. Even if you feel like, yo, listen, I ain't doing nothing wrong. Everything I'm doing is right. Sometimes what's your right don't gotta necessarily be that other person's right. But it's all how you handle it. It's all how you handle it. I got one more scenario, then I'm off this, people. I sat there and I watched my uncle. My uncle did 20. This is my other uncle. I had two uncles who did 27, who just touched down, and I have another uncle who did 36 and just touched down. So I sat there and I watched, right? My uncle who did 27, he got married. His wife did the whole 27 with him. Do you know she wasted all that 27 years for my uncle to finally make it home and they not be together? That's not weird. You do a whole 27 years with somebody incarcerated, and you mean to tell me you wait till that person come home to not be together? Let that sink in, people. My uncle did 27 years. A crime that took place in the Hill. That's why I say, yo, like we embedded in Castle in the Hill. Took place in Castle Hill. Rocked out with a lady. She did the whole 27 with my aunt. Salute to her. But then my uncle came home to being single. How is that? Like, did she ever think I've been down this long? What's the change? Because you can't get that 27 back. You can't get that 27 back. You know what I'm saying? What's the change? You dig? So, with all that being said, people, it's a lot of, decisions, you know what I'm saying, and learning points. Each and every day out your day in life, it's learning points. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be the butt of nobody's jokes. And just don't let nobody destroy who you are as a man or a woman. If you feel though they're not respecting something that you put on the table, then sometimes, it's best you go your way. It's just best you go your way. No anger. No bad feeling towards a person. Because I hate a person who don't respect nothing that someone stands on, but yet want that same person to respect what they stand on. Don't let that go over your head. On that note, it's your boy 050BUCKS, aka Mr. Shoot Right Back. Before you leave the building, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the live. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And keep growing. Because I'm not going to stop, people. I'm not going to stop. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep on dropping, I'm going to keep on dropping. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody who pulled up. We had a great show. You know what I mean? And again, Joel Santana said it best. We all here to be used. Right? We all here to be used, right? Just don't misuse me. And with that being said, again, people, it's your boy 050BUCKS, aka Mr. Shoot Right Back. Wow.